There's one particular word that I have yet to use in this video in reference to the Watchtower Corporation, which is cult. Are the governing body cult leaders? Yeah, of course they are. And Jehovah's Witnesses are their captive subjects. But the reason I don't tend to use the word cult in reference to Jehovah's Witnesses is that, as I hope this video has shown, that word doesn't begin to convey the reality of what's going on here. It's much more accurate to identify it as a culture, same root word as cult. See, culture means care. Agriculture means care of the fields, horticulture means care of the plants, and cultures are the institutions, behaviors, and social norms that people care enough about to ensure their survival and growth. In ancient Rome, cultus was the worship and veneration offered by citizens to emperors to demonstrate that they believed the emperor's rule was backed by the gods. Jehovah's Witnesses offer their cultus to the Watchtower Corporation in the form of effort, time, money, and their very lives. Culture is whatever grows by humans showing care for it. Culture influences every aspect of a person's life: family and social dynamics, gender roles, language, education, career, behavior, appearance, religious beliefs, and more. The Watchtower Corporation's culture has only one answer for every question, and that answer is: preach more, pray more, study more, do more, give more, don't ask questions, or else very, very soon. Totalitarian governments cannot tolerate dissent, but functional democracies must. For that reason, the Watchtower's totalitarian government has more in common with Russia than it will ever acknowledge. Bullies hate competition. On that note, you might want to review the list of countries where the Watchtower's operations are banned, because none of those countries are functional democracies. In fact, nearly all of them reside on the lower half of the World Press Freedom Index, linked below. A simple way to assess the health of any culture is to ask whether or not input from all members is encouraged or prohibited. A healthy culture will solicit feedback and acknowledge the rights, dignity, and autonomy of its members. They will have a say in how things get done. Toxic cultures find the idea of consent and being held accountable to its members completely absurd. If it is not safe for you to be honest about what you think, feel, want, or need, and you have not consented to the treatment that you're receiving, then you are participating in a toxic culture. The point of this video, and the point of this whole series, is that narcissistic abuse, codependence, cluster B personality disorders, and intergenerational trauma manifest in similar ways in individuals, families, communities, corporations, political movements, religions, and in nations, but it's all the same thing. Narcissistically abusive and neglectful families function like tiny totalitarian governments, and totalitarian governments, communities, and companies function as large narcissistically abusive families. This is precisely why Stephen Hassan's BITE model applies so well to all of them, because it's all the same thing. It's tyranny. Do what I say, or else. History shows that there's nothing really unique or exceptional about the Watchtower Corporation, except for the harm that its 140-year existence has caused. And even those are rookie numbers compared to many older and larger religious and political movements. Nations, religions, political movements, companies, and congregations are all composed of families and individuals. And why would we ever expect a group to be healthier than its members? Actually, groups matching this template tend to amplify and reinforce abusive dynamics with each increase in population size. And look, every institution and every culture contains traumatized people in crisis who are vulnerable to narcissistic abuse and totalitarian methods, but not every institution or culture cultivates a climate of fearful silence and promotes its most toxic members to leadership roles. The Watchtower Corporation does, and it always has. For example, here's what William Malenfant said at the 150th Gilead class graduation last year.
You can boast also in another thing, that you're slaves of Jehovah. Now, you're in a unique position because very few slaves are allowed to choose their master. But you've done it. You've chosen Jehovah God to be your master and to be a slave to him. And you know that Jehovah is with you, and you're happy, and you're willing slaves of Jehovah and of Jesus Christ. And it's a remarkable slavery, really, because no one has the freedom that we enjoy in our slavery to Jehovah God. We're so free and able to do so many things, serving Jehovah, but all the while enjoying the good life that God has given to us.
I can't decide what upsets me more about that clip. The possibility that as he said those words, not one person in the audience felt the slightest twinge of concern, or that much more likely, there were Jehovah's Witnesses present who were quite aware of the reality of their situation and simply cannot imagine a way out of it. And to them I say, we see you. I know it took a lot to get here, but to put it simply, what the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society really is an idolatrous vanity project founded and led by ignorant, dangerous, narcissistic men. That's all that it ever really was, and that's all that it will ever be. And that is why, in Exit Support 2, I said, If you are or were one of Jehovah's Witnesses, then you are or were in a narcissistically abusive relationship with a publishing company who considers itself to be God's sovereign nation on earth, and your friends and family probably are too. By now it should be obvious that that is, indeed, the case. In the next 2 videos, we'll talk about what can be done about it. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're not crazy, you're not alone, there are ways out, and it's going to be okay. One last thing. I realized while preparing this material that given how many threads of evidence I've woven together, and given the fact that I'm calling the Watchtower a shadow government, because it is, that I might be accused of crafting a conspiracy theory of my own. So I want to take a moment to explain why that's not the case. First, I claim no special knowledge or secret sources of insight. This is just how things look from where I'm standing. And I'm not an authority on anything. Second, when looking at our situation, I don't see any scapegoats, no villainous or deficient them to fear and despise. Abusive leaders, elders, and members are responsible parties, not scapegoats. From my perspective, there is no them. There's only us, our families, friends, and neighbors, how we treat each other, and how we allow ourselves and others to be treated. The truth about the truth is that there is no grand conspiracy, no divine plan of the ages. Armageddon has been canceled. So where do we go from here?